Trainual is a business playbook software. It is a tool where, as a company, you put all of your processes, your policies, and really the story about your business. So why you exist, what your mission, your values, your vision are. So it's how you teach new people that you hire about the company and get them up to speed. And it's how you keep your existing team aligned with all your best practices. So it was really an evolution of my own business journey. So I started my first company at 14. It was a video production company, and I was the camera operator. And so to get off the camera, I had to hire other camera operators and teach them how to do what I did. And as the business grew from just me and my friends to hundreds of camera operators around the US, training became such a natural part of what I was doing. And so it was training people remotely to show up at an event, to look and feel like they were part of our company, to wear the right clothes, to set up the cameras in the right places, to deliver the footage and sell it in the right way. And so that just kind of became part of my DNA. And so when I sold my video business, I started doing consulting for other companies, and I saw that everyone has their way, like how they operate. And everyone has the same challenges with getting new people up to speed or just trying to replace themselves so that the founder, the CEO, doesn't have to do everything as a small business. And so just seeing that over and over again is what led to Trainual. And so it started as just a prototype with my consulting firm, and then we spun it into a SaaS company in 2018. Well, there's kind of two answers to that. So it was originally built as like the little prototype and launched in January of 2015. It was only maybe a 4-week period of patching it up and making it work for people. So super MVP. And then I really didn't touch it for the next 3 years. And so 2015, 2016, 2017, it was just there. And it was kind of like collecting feedback from people that would use it. And I'd put it on a long list of ideas that maybe someday I'm going to get back to this thing and build this. And so it was late 2017 that I actually had some time free up and had a full-time developer at the time in the consulting firm. And we said, let's just spend a few months like rebuilding Trainual. And so as we did that for 2 or 3 months, we just got more and more excited and said, well, what if we do this? And what if we build this? And by the time we launched it in January of 2018, I just wanted to go all in on Trainual. Well, the biggest challenge, I think, was learning marketing. In my video company and then in my consulting company, almost all of my business came from word of mouth, from referrals. And it was only at the very end of my consulting that I was starting to do blog posts, and I wrote a little ebook, and I was getting some cold traffic through my website and a few consulting gigs out of it. But that was like the tip of the iceberg. And so with Trainual, I thought, if I just sell this to the people in my network that I know, that's never going to be a business. Like you can make a good consulting business, service business out of that. But if you're charging $40, $50 a month, you need a lot of people to buy. And I wasn't going to get there just on friends alone. So luckily my brother has a background in marketing. That's what he went to school for. And he really just gets storytelling and understands brand. And so he moved to Arizona, spent the first few months building out our website. And we just experimented with digital marketing, and we posted Facebook ads. We put budget behind them, and we learned, how do we replicate the word of mouth message of how I would tell people about Trainual through something like Facebook or like Google to get not just dozens of people to us, but hundreds or thousands of people to us. And so that was really the thing that we fine-tuned in the first year that opened up the ability to grow. And then all the scaling problems came after that, but just being able to scale, I think, is the first thing you need to do. I mean, there's so many cool things that I'm still pinching myself about. Like we have, I don't know when this is going to air, but we're recording this in August of 2021. And in 2 weeks, we have a song coming out with Montel Jordan, the guy that was like, this is how we do it. And so we're doing a new song with him that this is how you do it. It's all about small businesses and growing and the grind and showing other people how to do stuff for you. And so we're doing like this national campaign with him. And and Damon John from Shark Tank and Fubu, and so there's like things like that are happening that I'm still just like, I can't even believe that this is reality right now. But there's been so many good things over the years, like so many of the people that we've hired who have just made like a dramatic impact on what we're doing are some of the best things that have happened to the company. As tough as the pandemic was, through the last year plus and kind of still going on, it's forced us to think differently and to adapt and to operate remotely ourselves, which put us in our customers' shoes and made the product better for everyone around the world that was dealing with that. And so, we've been fortunate to grow a lot through the pandemic, which not everyone can say. There's been, so just so many things. I don't know where to start. So I don't remember how I got introduced to Brandon and Christy, but I think, I was just starting to even understand what SaaS was all about. I had been a customer of SaaS tools, but I had never really built one myself. So I just didn't know. It felt like a very niche kind of business. And so I knew I needed to, I knew I had a lot to learn. And so I was meeting with other software entrepreneurs in town, and someone told me, you've got to meet Brandon and Christy. And so I met them at a coffee shop at SIP, I think it was. And we sat outside in the patio, and I told them what I was doing, and they told me about the Startup AZ Collective. And at the time, they were looking for businesses that are a bit further along, that had actually like built some revenue and that were getting ready to grow and deal with fundraising. And I was in the super early stages of Trainual, like 3 months in. We had like 4,000 a month in recurring revenue, so it was very early at the time. And fortunately, they let me in. They looked at what I was doing consulting wise, that I had built a bigger business. And they said, all right, well, he'll probably figure it out. And so they gave me the benefit of the doubt, let me into the group. And I learned so much about, like, I didn't know what a convertible note was. I didn't know, what a seed round or a series A was. I didn't know what MRR and ARR and churn and LTV and CAC and like all these acronyms that obviously we use every day now. They weren't just, they weren't part of my lexicon a few years ago. And so just immersing myself in that community was so valuable to understand, like, what is everyone else doing and talking about and thinking about. How do I just throw myself into that space, because this is what I need to know if I'm going to be successful. Aside from just the knowledge, the experience shares, there's a huge benefit to seeing people that are further along on the journey that you're trying to take. Like when I went to the first Startup AZ Collective like retreat, I remember seeing, Mario Martinez and Greg Scoresby, and they're presenting their stories about how they built big businesses or had big exits or did big funding rounds. And I would hear those numbers and be like, wow, millions in revenue or tens of millions in funding. And, it's kind of like that whole 4-minute mile thing. It's like once you see that it's possible, then it kind of removes the barrier that in your head that you can't do that. And so just getting exposed to some of those stories was super valuable early on. The knowledge has been great. And then I would say it's the relationships with other founders that are going through the same thing. There's so many different entrepreneurial circles that you can be a part of. But when you're building something really specific like SaaS or like high growth tech kind of company, there are some specific challenges that you deal with that other entrepreneurs might not face. And being in the circle with people that are going through those things that you can text or hit up on Slack or call when you've got a problem is just invaluable. And so, over the last few years, that's become kind of a safe haven for sharing problems, sharing opportunities, big news before it's public. And it's just been an amazing resource. And so one thing that's interesting is, we bootstrapped the first year with Trainual. So it existed in my consulting business. And then I funded it from the consulting profits through the whole first year of the business. and never intended to raise money. And so all of the funding was centered on like, let's get customers. Let's build if we've got a product that works for 20 companies, then it can work for 1,000 companies. We just got to go find 1,000 companies. And so that was my whole mentality. And we did almost nothing to the product in the first year. It was just sales and marketing and getting people to our site. And then in year two, the switch flipped a little bit, and it was like, we were getting customers, but now we realized we needed to keep those customers and service those customers. And so we made a huge investment in customer success and like investing in their experience so that we could help get people up to speed and make it work for them. And so that was kind of year two into year three. And now the big focus is, we have thousands and thousands of companies and getting close to 1 million people around the world using the platform. So we've learned a ton. And now we need to kind of go back to the drawing board and say, if we were building this all over again from day one, what would we have built differently that just makes the product that much easier to use? And so a big part of the recent round we did is an investment in product and R&D and engineering. We're like rapidly scaling our engineering product design orgs because we're trying to face the biggest challenge of creating a business playbook, which is that you don't have time to do it, or it's never urgent. And so we're trying to make it so that the playbook writes itself. That's the product vision, is that as you operate your business, this thing just captures the knowledge of your company and understands roles and responsibilities and becomes this like collaborative nucleus of your business where all of the how-tos and the who does what's, live. And so that takes rethinking the product in a big way. And that's what we've been focused on now. I would say just always be learning, realize that at every stage, the more you learn, the more you grow. I think meeting other people, the relationships that you have is such a multiplier. It's such an accelerator. And especially through groups like this, it gets harder and harder as people build bigger businesses to isolate one-on-one time. But when you're part of a group like this that gets a bunch of people together, it's a really easy foot in the door to be able to have conversations with people that are harder to get in front of. And so I think leveraging groups like this is such a smart way to build your own kind of advisory panel and just to get smarter every day. So that's what it's all about.